Hey, the top company demands $50,000 just to open an account. That minimum alone blocks most retirees from even getting in the door. The 5 names that keep rising to the top of independent rankings are not all built the same. Some hide fees until you call. Stick with me, and you'll know which one fits your budget before you ever pick up the phone. So here's the part that matters. When you're comparing Gold IRA companies, only 3 things really count. And those are the total annual cost, the minimum investment to open, and how transparent they are before you ever pick up the phone. Be careful here. Most of these companies use the same custodians and depositories behind the scenes, which means the real difference comes down to service, fees, and whether they pressure you into a sale you don't fully understand. The annual fees might look small on paper, but over 10 or 15 years, they add up to thousands of dollars that could have stayed in your account and kept compounding for your retirement. Now here's the part most people miss. The company with the best reviews isn't always the best fit for your budget, which means you need to look past the ratings and match the company to your actual situation. So let's start the countdown and see where each one lands. Look at Birch. Back in 2003, Birch Gold Group got its start, which makes them the oldest company on this list by a wide margin, and they sit at number 5 with a $10,000 minimum and a flat rate fee structure that runs about $180 to $230 per year. That puts them lower than some competitors, but not the cheapest you'll see today. Money.com lists them as best for fee transparency because their pricing is actually published online. And that kind of openness is almost impossible to find in an industry where most companies hide the numbers until you reach out to them. But here's the catch. Their Trustpilot score is the lowest of the 5 at 4.4, and you'll hear scattered complaints about sales pressure when you first get started. Birch works best if you're the kind of retiree who wants to research everything yourself before you make a single call. Look at Noble. Noble Gold Investments comes in at number 4, and they do something with storage that almost no one else on this list offers. They opened their doors in 2016, and they require $10,000 to $20,000 to open an IRA, or as little as $2,000 for a direct cash purchase. Their total annual fees run roughly $230 on a flat rate structure that benefits larger accounts. Because it doesn't rise with your balance, no matter how much you put in. Yahoo Finance gave them the best for segregated storage label. Their standout feature is a Texas-based depository through IDS of Dallas, while most competitors only offer Delaware or Brinks. Their Trustpilot score is the highest of the 5 at 4.9, and they offer a no-quibble buyback program, but the downside is a shorter track record at 10 years. And you've still got to call to learn what you'll pay. Noble makes sense if you want your metals stored in Texas, or if you're a beginner who wants a guided, low-pressure experience. Here's number 3. American Hartford Gold takes the number 3 spot. And since they started up in 2015, their minimum investment is $10,000 for an IRA, or $5,000 if you're buying cash instead of rolling over. Their annual fees run roughly $175 to $225, which makes them one of the lowest cost options on this list. They charge no setup or transfer fees, and they frequently run promotions that waive storage fees for 2 to 3 years on qualifying accounts. Yahoo Finance named them best overall, and Money.com calls them best for low fees. But here's where it gets real. Their fees aren't listed on the website, so you've got to call to learn the full cost, and several reviewers called and found agents couldn't confirm promotion details over the phone. That's a small but real frustration. American Hartford suits you if you're a cost-conscious retiree looking for the lowest ongoing fees and a reasonable entry point. which is exactly why they rank third on this list and not lower. Goldco lands at number 2, and since they got their start in 2006, they've got nearly 20 years in business with a minimum investment of just $10,000. Their annual fees run roughly $180 to $260 per year. Look at Goldco. They're one of the most reviewed names in the industry, with over 8,000 five-star reviews across platforms and 9 INC 5000 awards. And SHSMF ranked them number 1 overall in their independent research. They assign a dedicated rollover specialist to walk you through moving funds from a 401k or existing IRA, which means you've got someone on the phone who knows the paperwork and can answer your questions without passing you around. But here's the real problem. Their fees aren't published online, and their educational downloads often redirect you to a phone call instead of delivering the resource directly, which means their educational content works more like a sales funnel than a true library that shows you the basics before asking you to commit. If you want a household name with proven rollover support, Goldco is hard to beat, but their lack of published fee transparency keeps them from the number 1 spot. Augusta Precious Metals is number 1, and this is the company most independent sources consistently rank at the top. But founded in 2012, their minimum investment is $50,000, which is the highest on this list by a wide margin. Their annual fees run roughly $180 to $250 per year. Here's why they win. Money.com has named them best overall for multiple consecutive years, and Morningstar and IRA Empire also rank them number 1 for transparency and customer education. And their most unusual feature is an actual video series on why you should not own gold, which is the kind of honesty that tells you they aren't using scare tactics to close a sale. That degree of transparency is almost impossible to find anywhere in this business. They publish their full fee schedule online before you call. This is rare. Their buyback terms are clearly laid out in their public transaction agreement, including the 5% spread, so you know exactly what you'll receive if you ever sell. And they offer phone, email, and live chat support with an educational library that teaches you the mechanics before you ever speak to a specialist. There are virtually no recorded complaints about high-pressure sales tactics, and their entire approach is education first, decision later. But here's the bottom line. The $50,000 barrier is real. It puts them out of reach for many retirees. They only offer gold and silver, and if you want platinum or palladium, you'll need to look at another provider on this list. Think about that. Augusta works best if you have $50,000 or more to roll over and you want white glove service with zero pressure, which is why they dominate the rankings for investors who can meet that threshold, and that is the only reason they sit at number 1 despite the high minimum. So here's the bottom line. Augusta is the best if you have the money. Goldco and American Hartford are the best if you don't. The right company depends on your budget, your timeline, and whether you want hand-holding or self-service. And if you're within 10 years of retirement, this decision affects you directly. So pick one and move before the window closes on you. There's a free Gold IRA checklist in the description with important questions to ask before you roll over a dime, so download it before you call any company, because it'll save you thousands. Protect what you've built and make your move before the rules change on you again. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more updates, and leave a comment if you have any questions.